All right, post-trade clarity. Let's get straight to it. Let's cut through the bullshit, talk about the week, what's going through my mind. First thing, elephant in the room is the room. It's completely dirty. Let me live a little bit, all right? I'm 21. I just got back from vacation. You know, when you get back from vacation, you just throw shit everywhere. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to deal with that later. I'm going to get back. You know, you get a grace period when you get back from vacation. You know, I just got back 2 days ago. So I'm still within that 2 day grace period, all right? Yesterday, I did have the day free, but I just wanted to take the day to kind of raise my floors. I want to put the blinders on coming up and really focus on becoming better and doing better for myself. So what I'm going to start, obviously, I have this journal. This is going to be like my big nerd book. I'm going to write everything in here. I want to just kind of appreciate the present moment more and not just let it pass me by. What else? We're going to be filling out today. The main purpose of this video is I'm going to be filling out this new journal because I do have the TradeZella journal, which like kind of automatically tracks my trade. But I want to see more of my statistics, go more in depth, and just have something that's easier for me to review and kind of look at my stats overall. And I saw this. Shout out to Bionic NQ. Super good trader, by the way. We'll go watch his videos, but he put me onto this. He made a video about this and linked the Notion template. So without further ado, let's just get into the trades that I took, not only this week, but I'm going to go into the ones that I took this month. So I'm going to import all the trades from February into this journal, which is honestly not that many trades. It's only let me see. It's only a handful of trades anyway, so there's not that many to go through. Oh, I'll also point out, check the fit, you know what I'm saying? I got to make this quick because I'm about to go to work. I got work at 12, so I got to leave here at 11:30, so I got 45 minutes to make this video and edit it. I'm YG'd up, as they say. You know, I'm not a YN, I'm a young gentleman. I'm a YG, get my matcha, you know what I'm saying? I got my book. I'm ready to transition into a performative male, all right? So let's just get into this real quick, okay? Let's fast forward this. The first trade I took was on Tuesday. Terrible trade. I'm just gonna start this off the bat. The thing is that when I made the video on this trade, also I had to go back and rewatch all the videos because I haven't been journaling properly. That's a big reason why I wanted to start this Notion journal, is because I haven't been journaling the trades that I have been making videos on correctly. I feel like I've been making the video journal, I've been talking about my bias and kind of posting the video, and that for itself has itched the scratch of journaling. So I haven't been writing down my thoughts, going through and, you know, really having a place where I can look at it all in a one uniform kind of database. But on this video I was talking about like, hey, this is a really good trade. I really like this. This is A plus. I'm happy that I took this trade. But then I went to go look back at it to make this video, and I'm like, yo, this trade was terrible, bro. Okay, let's get into it, right? Yes, I was bullish on the day. We have all these gaps below. We have a 4 hour here, a 4 hour here. So it's not a problem that I was bullish, right? I would still be bullish going into this day. But the thing is, right, look at this. Simply, there's no other explanation needed besides, look, market opens right here. We dump how many points? 200 points, right? And the very first reaction, the very first inversion, I get in. That is just insane. Like, above all else, I don't need to, I could talk about how bullish I was. We're in a 4 hour gap. We're in this 15-minute gap, 30-minute gap, hourly gap. But the fact of the matter is we dumped 200 points off the open. And as soon as we got a very tiny reaction and we got a 2-minute inversion, yes, it was clean. But that's about it. This trade has there's no structure. There's no sweep. All we have is a fair value gap and an inversion. And then my bias, which was strongly bullish because we had these relative equal highs up here, and I was trying to take it to this 5-minute unfilled, right? And the thing that also helped my bias is, oh, we're bearish. If we're going to be bearish, we should at least come back up to this 5-minute unfilled and come all the way down here. But look at how far this 5-minute is, bro. Like, we dumped 200 points here, 230 points. The 5-minute is 170 points back up. So that means we would dump 170 points and come right back up all the way to this 5-minute unfilled, which is just like not the most high probability, honestly. And after seeing this big dump, we want to at least wait till we, you know, if we're going to take a short here, we want to see us build some structure, and then sweep and then go up, not just first inversion straight up to this 5-minute, right? So on hindsight, not that good of a trade. I mean, it's not the most terrible trade I could have taken, but Certainly not that good. So let's go ahead and add this in here. This was obviously on NQ because that's all I trade. Time, it was from 9:30 to 9:45, right? Because I took the trade at 9:47. So it's, or no, so 9:45. Oops, 9:45 to 10. Rating. In hindsight, when I first took this trade, I would say it was A plus or A minus. In hindsight, I'd give this setup either a B or a C because, I mean, there's no liquidity sweep here. We did take out, or we swept out all of these lows here inside of this 4-hour gap. There was just no good structure for us. Yeah, I would give this setup a B. It's not terrible. You know, we have the 4-hour, we have the sweep to the left, we have like all this liquidity that we just took out, but nothing is really stopping us from going lower here. And we want to wait till the market tells us what it's going to do, not impose our own ideas on the market. Not saying, hey, if we're going to be bearish, we're going to come tap this 4-hour, we're going to go tap this 5-minute unfilled anyway, and I'm already bullish. So it's like, I want to wait. What is the market telling me? Let me follow that and just get in line with the market instead of kind of imposing my own ideas. So I'll give it a B. Model, this is not a continuation, so this would be a mech. Entry time frame was on the 2-minute. It was a loss. My drawn liquidity was an imbalance. I went long. My RR was 1 to 2.4, so 1.2. Oh, wait, no. So it would be -1, sorry. -1, because I lost. All right, perfect. I just wrote here, during immediate review, I was very satisfied with this loss, but upon further review, I realized that this trade lacks good structure. It was a 200-point dump into the first inversion. It was really just this displacement that kind of, I guess, made me jump the gun a little bit. It was the fact that we had such good displacement after dumping so far that made me confident to get in this long. But I'm not going to spend too much time bragging on myself about this one. I was confident in it. It's not a bad trade. It's just not necessarily that good of a trade. Let's go to the next trade I took, which was actually a beautiful setup. So let's get into it. Going into market open, you can see that TradingView always messes up the replay, but just imagine this last candle's not here. On the 4-hour, we have an unfilled 4-hour above. We're starting to react up and creating 4-hour gaps below us as well. So obviously, I would want to be bullish, right? On the 1-hour, we also have this 1-hour below. So this is a 1-hour and a 4-hour. I guess the 4-hour doesn't get put in until after this 10 a.m. closes. So just, it's not a 4-hour yet. It's just a 1-hour. We have a 1-hour gap here. So kind of already going into the day, we have this bullish structure. We have an unfilled 4-hour above us with this 1-hour intermediate high, right? So initially going into the open, I'm looking for longs to this 4-hour. I'm seeing if we're going to resweep here, and then we're going to take longs to this 4-hour gap. If we don't get a long to the 4-hour gap, I'm looking for us to react bearish out of this 4-hour gap downwards, right? Simple as that. So what do we get off the open, right? We get a sweep of all this liquidity. We get a dip into this 1-hour gap, but we don't get an entry long. So we react up so quickly here. You can see we're literally 9:30 opens. We sweep with this 9:32 candle and immediately react up, taking out all these internal draws already. So you don't want to get in on an inversion that has already taken out internal draws. It just makes it way less probability, right? So I wait till we tap into this 4-hour gap up here. A lot of people take this first inversion to the left here. Why do I not take it? Because we have this 1-hour intermediate high up here. So this 4-hour gap was also stacked with a 1-hour gap. And in this 1-hour gap, we have this high here. So ideally, we want to sweep this high and use that as the key level. If we're going to come up here, tap into this gap and not sweep this high, it just makes it less probability, right? So I want to just wait. Be patient. We just generate more liquidity. 945 opens up too, so we have the PO3. We generate lows. We sweep out this high, and we get just a beautiful inversion right here on the 1-minute. And then we can just take it all the way down. We have a bunch of low resistance here. We have a 5-minute unfilled below. We had just swept out this 1-hour intermediate high. This setup is absolutely beautiful. This is like just doing this replay trading, just knowing I caught this just like makes my bottom parts all tingly, guys. You know what I mean. You know, break even here, just go straight flushes to TP. And then what do? We chop down a little bit right after our TP. This is just, oh, it just makes you feel so good when you catch a trade like this, right? So what is this? 2.2R. Just realized I'm also supposed to add pictures to these. I will do that at a different time, right? So I'm kind of short on time right now. I'm actually about to run out of time doing these trades before work, but I'll come back later today and do it, so it doesn't matter. NQ, time frame, what time was this at? This was 9:45 to 10 because it was at 9:30 or 9:50. I mean, 9:45 to 10. Rating A plus. Model. This was not a continuation, so a mech. Targeting entry time frame was on the 1 minute. Draw on liquidity was an imbalance. I won. I went short. RR was 2.2. I just filled out some of the notes. Notes are just literally perfect, A plus. I even faded the bad 1 minute due to the lack of the sweep of the high. Honestly, this is exactly what I look for. It's A plus as far as my set, because I just waited patiently and I executed on exactly what I wanted to execute on. All right, this was on a Friday, and of course in February. Okay, on to the next one, right? So let me first start by saying I did wake up late this day. I didn't wake up and get on the charts till 9:45. So I got on late, but just kind of reviewing what I would have, my bias going into the day, or kind of because by the time I got on the charts, we were already looking bullish. But going into this, we're just in chop. You want to wait to see what we're doing, right? We are still actively respecting this 4-hour gap below us, and we also have this 4-hour intermediate high above. So I'd be thinking maybe, I didn't mean to move that. I'd be thinking maybe we could be bullish. We already closed above this 4-hour to the left of us. So we're looking pretty bullish. You know, we're not really respecting too much bearish, but we do have this 1-hour gap that's up here that was previously respected by this previous day high, right? So technically this would be a 1-hour intermediate high. Especially in this chop, we're going to want to wait till we sweep one side and see how we react off of that. If we're going to sweep one side and continue down, if we're going to sweep one side and continue that way, or if we're going to sweep and then we're going to reverse, right? So in this case, it would be a sweep and a reverse. Off the open, what do we see? Because we're just inside of this range of these two bars. Off the open, we immediately come down and sweep out all these lows that's inside of this 4-hour gap. So we want to be looking bullish. We immediately get inversions to the upside. There is this 1 minute that is kind of similar to the last one. A lot of people got cooked on. Honestly, if I was trading this day, I would have taken this 1 minute since we did just sweep out all of this liquidity. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I would have taken this 1 minute long and got stopped out, right? But had I also been on the charts, I would have gotten the re-entry on this setup, which would have been at this 30-second, right? So I would have grabbed this 30-second long, stop at the low here after getting stopped out once, and I would have probably taken it to this 5-minute gap. There's a chance I would have left runners, but most likely I probably would have just taken this because it's a 2.4, so a 2.4 to this. So I would have been after all 1.4 on the day. Had I taken that, I didn't take that because I woke up at 9:45, which was right here. By the time we were already reacting, I was seeing what was going on. I'm trying to recalibrate the market. All right, what happened? Okay, we just swept out this. We're already past this inversion. So I'm like, oh, I might have missed the setup. We sweep this out. Okay, cool. What do I see? Is there a 2 minute? There's a 2 minute all the way up here. Do we have a 3 minute? There is a 3 minute also up here. Do we have a 5 minute? We have a 5 minute, right? So the 5 minute, I saw the 3 minute close here. I thought, if we close this 3 minute and we're not in the 5 minute, then, maybe I'll enter. But as we close this 3 minute, we are inside of this 5 minute. So there's no point in entering on the 3 minute, and you need to wait for the 5 minute close. Took that entry right there. 5 minute close. Stop at the high over here at previous day high, because that's just strong draw is what I was looking for. And then just stop at a 1-to-1, right? So if we're already going to react this bullishly off this, we already have that 30-second inversion down here. We would have already been break even at this 5 minute or been out of the trade. I wanted to see us just continue up. I don't really want to see us retrace all the way down here out of this area. So if we even look on the 1 minute, If we had came all the way back down here and then to come up, just that's not what I want to see, right? I want to see us just kind of pump straight up from here. And that's kind of exactly what we do. We do have a little chop there, but we push right up to this previous day high pretty easily. So let's add this next trade here. Of course, NQ. I entered this trade at 9.55, so 9.45 to 10. Rating. Is there anything that's not... I mean, I would say it's A minus. I would say this setup is A minus just because although I did put my stop up here, there is a chance we could have swept this out before going higher. And this is not a most perfect one-to-one. I wouldn't say my stop is the most protected. So I'm just going to give it an A minus. This would be a continuation, right? I would class... Nah, this is a Meg. This is not a continuation. Meg. Entry time frame on the 5-minute. Draw on liquidity was previous day high. Win loss, I won. It was a long with a 1-to-1 RR. And then just as far as the notes in psych, I just wrote that I woke up late. I missed a setup and the re-entry, but I did still catch a good inversion that I was confident in. As far as the psych, I was a little bit all over the place, you know, here and there, just because I did just wake up. But it was just kind of more, I still didn't FOMO into any bad trades. I still took a setup that I was confident in. I still followed my strategy, even though I had just woken up. So I can't give it a complete A+. I was on my shit. I was locked in. But I still ended up playing it well with the cards I was dealt. We are getting towards that time. I do not know if I'll have enough time to edit this, to be honest. But this trade, honestly, not that good of a trade. There's not much to say here. But I'm going to go over it. Going into the open, we have this 15-minute below. I was bullish, right? So we were still respecting this 4-hour gap. But the thing is here, there's no real reason for me to be bullish. And really just the biggest thing here is I was just targeting a protected high. It was just no reason for us to draw to this high because it's high resistance. It's a high that swept out another high already. So there's no point for us to draw to it, right? We do retrace down into this 15-minute gap that we're reacting up off of. We're looking for a long now if we're going to be in this 15-minute, but it's like this is not the best draw on liquidity to the upside. I would need to see a good inversion if we're going to go higher, right? But we chop around, we chop around, we chop around, and I enter. Why? Well, my idea was because ES, even though NASDAQ looks like this right now, ES had looked like almost, I mean, I want to say ES had swept out this low. It looked a little bit different, kind of like this, but it really, you know, didn't. It kind of looked something like this. So an accumulation, but this low had just came a little bit lower than these ones, had swept out these lows while NASDAQ stayed above them, right? And it was really the lower time frame that enticed me because look, on the 30-second here, that's what I enter off of is this 30-second inversion. And we have all this low resistance to the above us right here. We have an SMT below us. We're reacting out of a 15-minute gap. We just touched into this 15-minute gap. We were also making an SMT with this gap because when NASDAQ tapped in this 15-minute gap here, ES hadn't. And when ES reswept this low here and made this SMT, ES had tapped into this 15-minute gap. So I just wanted to see higher. But there was just no clear manipulation. This was all accumulation. We're trading in chop, and we're targeting a protected high, something that doesn't need to be taken out. So this instantly just fails, right? It just, you know, this is just a low probability play. It just doesn't really make that much sense. Like the structure here is all right on the lower time frame, but as soon as we zoom out to this higher time frame, this 5-minute, we're targeting a protected high. There's no gaps or anything here. We are reacting up off this 5-minute bullish gap, but it's just, I feel like this is just not clear enough. It's not light bulb enough. There's nothing here that says, oh my God, we're going up right now. So this is honestly just kind of like a, more of like a C trade, honestly. Put this in here real quick. NQ. The time I took this at was 9:50. Wow, I take all my trades at the same time. All my trades in the past week have been 9:45 to 10. I'm going to give this a C rating. Model. This is supposed to be a continuation, but it failed. So I'll put continuation, entry time frame on the 30-second. Draw on liquidity was high resistance. Win, loss, loss on a long RR -1. It would be perfect. Yeah, as far as the notes, just for this trade is simply just low probability. I was targeting high resistance. I was trading inside of accumulation, and it only looks good on the lower time frame. So this is the high resistance up here. This is like, obviously you can just see this is chop. And if you look on like the 5-minute, this just doesn't really look as good. It looks like this could play out, but the thing is, on the 5-minute, the fact that this high is protected and high resistance is so clear. It's so clear that there's no reason for us to really draw up here, aside from like higher time frame bias. But this goes back to what I was saying before, in that I want to wait till the market, I want to listen to what the market is telling me and not impose my own ideas on the market. Not, oh, if we're going to be bullish here, if we're going to go bullish on the higher time frame, we're going to take out this high, da-da-da-da-da. Or if we're going to be bearish, we should sweep out this high already. I want to wait, let the market tell me, hey, I'm going to go sweep out this high. Or, hey, it's high probability that I'll sweep out this high, right? Because this on the 5-minute doesn't look good, because you can see that we already swept this out. It only starts to look good once you zoom in on the 1-minute. Once you see this, once you cut off this part of the trade over here and you zoom in, you see the low resistance right here, especially when you go down to the 30-second and you see, okay, we got an SMT here, so that's our manipulation. We have an inversion here. We have low resistance above over here. So this just looks kind of like a good break-even point right here or right here. And then we also have this high above that we could just, see to go higher, but it only looks good down here on this lower time frame, right? As far as the psych, it wasn't bad. I mean, I took this trade with somewhat confidence, and when I lost the trade, I didn't really feel too crazy about it either, because now that I have appropriate risk, now that my risk actually, makes sense, I'm not as hurt by a loss. I'm not losing one trade and going, oh my God, I can't lose again, da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? So just chill out. We have decent risk now. I only lost like 150 per account that day. It was enough to where I could lose 10 times, or I would have to lose 10 times to lose those accounts. I did lose 300, so that's 450 down in total, with a $1,500 drawdown. So there's still about $1,000 left. If I just risk 200, that's 5 trades right there before I would have to lose 5 trades in a row and not win a single one. And going into this last trade, the very first thing I want to talk about is listening to other traders, because I'm not going to, of course, I'm not going to blame this. Of course, it's always myself. There's always the room to improve. But one of the main reasons why my bias was the way it was, yeah, I was bearish. Yeah, we were constantly in a downtrend right here, making lower lows and lower highs. But the main reason why I was so convicted and bearish and didn't flip my bias around is because going into this morning, we had CPI, right? So we had CPI on Friday. If we just fast forward to this CPI, you guys will get to see the news candle, the data high and low. But I was watching around 8:30 looking at CPI, because I'm not the type to full port. I was seeing a bunch of stuff on social media about full porting. I've been looking at social media about all the trades that everybody's taking every day. So I was just kind of absorbed in social media. I was watching a trader called Dodge. You guys probably know him if you're in the trading space. He's an amazing IFET trader, but his bias on the day was bearish. And it's not that anything's wrong with that. I could see myself being bearish as well, especially since we have more lows down here. We're dumping aggressively. But normally, after such an aggressive dump with a 4 hour and a 1 hour gap combined, I would more than likely be looking for the 1 hour or this 4 hour above, especially if we have all this low resistance heading up to it. I feel like a normal Miles would want to be bullish here. That's just something that I had thought of after. But anyways, let's get into the morning what we saw. I think I did end up taking an L here. Yeah, I remember. I don't need to look at the video. I remember where I took these trades, but let's just go into the market open, how we see it. So let's just cut into here at 9:30. We have this 5 minute above. Okay. So we have a 5 minute above. We have our data highs, data lows. If we are going to be bearish, what do we need? So there's no real 15-minute gaps here, no good 15-minute gaps. Is there an hourly? No, there is an hourly. So there's an hourly up here, right? So we'll put this hourly in this line that had given previously respected. What do we do? If we're gonna be bearish, we want to at least come up into this hourly because nothing else is really clear here. We would want to at least come up to this hourly or this 4 hour. So going into market open, we immediately market opens and we sweep out data lows. All right, well, I just should have been more fluid. Like, I was so stuck in shorts and saying, I want to be bearish, I want to be bearish, I want to be bearish. But we instantly dump lower. We sweep out all of the liquidity to the left, right? So if I go out to the 5 minutes so we can see this a little better, we sweep out all this liquidity over here to the left of us. Inside of this higher time frame, 5 hour, or not 5 hour, 1 hour and 4 hour. So we already sweep out these intermediate highs or intermediate lows right here. And we just get a beautiful inversion on the 1 minute, right? I should have taken this. Full front on, I should have taken this. 2 data highs. The only thing that would have prevented me, the thing is like, hey, we're reacting off of this 5 minute gap. With this amount of displacement, my mindset should have been this. Hey, okay, stop at the low here. TP here. If we're going to touch this 5 minute, I'm going to go break even at this 5 minute, right? Because look at like the bias here is like, I'm not going to say like I'm an idiot or anything, but it's just like there's a 4 hour and a 1 hour gap here. Even if you're bearish, this is such a nice key level. This is such a nice inversion. We get the sweep. This is everything, except it's just not in line with your bias, which I'm glad. I'm honestly very proud of myself for not taking this setup. That is perfect. That is everything that I want to see, but in the opposite way of my bias, and I did not take it. So that says a lot. But I should have been bullish here to these data highs. Like, this is just a high probability area. We also have these relative equal highs here with this data high. So we have the data high, relative equal highs, and the 1 hour. Sorry, I meant to put this here because it's the relative equal highs here too. Like, this just looks perfect. Like, this just has that light bulb moment. This goes to TP, but I didn't take this. What did I take? I took a short. 2 minute inversion here somewhere. There we go. 2 minute inversion right here is what I took. Stop should have been here. Honestly, stop should have been right here. I put my stop all the way up here just because we did have an SMT right here. And I just felt like this was a high resistance area right here, which it was, a high that swept out a high. And I felt that we should take out at least something down here, right? So I just put my thing at a 1-to-1. I was thinking, hey, if we're going to continue lower on the higher time frame, we have this 1 hour intermediate low here, this 1 hour intermediate low here. But the thing is, look, I'm targeting liquidity that's far away and through this gap. This goes back to what I was saying before. Do not impose your ideas upon the market. If we're going to be bearish, we want to see some sort of condition that's going to make us bearish. We want to see us close below an hourly gap. We want to see us close below a 15-minute gap. Something, right? At the time, okay, so at the time we actually did close below this 15-minute gap here. So I guess that's good, but the thing is we had already reacted, what? Let me see. Let me count. 1, 2, 3. If you count these little candles in here, so we had 3 main reactions off of this 4 hour, 1 hour. We also had a mini 4, 5. So all of these dipped down into this gap and just pushed out, pushed out, pushed out. If we're going to continue rejecting this gap to continue higher, we need to be able to let that happen instead of saying, hey, I'm going to take this trade on the condition that we are going to inverse this 1 hour or 4 hour, right? We haven't done it yet, but for my trade to succeed or for my trade to play out, we have to have inversed or traded through this 1 hour, right? And that's just not how I want to be setting up my trades. Again, I want to have the market tell me what to do. And I feel like this first trade, this long, is just a representation of the market telling me what it wants to do. We have data highs up here, relative equal highs. We sweep out all the liquidity and a high time frame gap, and then we inverse up. But this, what do we have? We have high resistance at our stop loss, but we also have high resistance at our take profit. Not even at our take profit, but before our take profit, our break even point. This would have been my break even. Our break even point, a point that we want the market to draw to, is quite literally high resistance. Sorry, wrong one. High resistance. It's a low that swept out lows already. It's a protected low already. So if we're in between a protected low and a protected high, why would we trade? And in the same way that we are just in this range right here. Why? If we're going to sweep. Plus, we already had CPI. So we already had a bunch of movement. We already had a bunch of data. As soon as I enter this trade, let me put it back on. I get in this 2 minute. Here, stop at the high here, and we just kind of chop around. We don't do shit. We chop, hit stop loss. Right? I'm actually, I just checked the time. I didn't even realize where I was at. I'm out of time. I'm going to edit this tonight. I'm going to post it tonight. I appreciate y'all for watching the video, but I need to get to work now. I already said it. I have to leave at 11:30. The latest I can leave is like 11:40, 11:45, and it's 11:35. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Going forward, my trade recaps are probably going to be more in depth, going and actually in every trade recap, I'm going to be adding to this journal. As far as a trading journal, as far as a personal journal, I'm going to be writing heavily in this. I'm going to be reading. After this vacation, I really want to raise my floors. I want to read every day. Be present, meditate, running, or go to the gym. If I'm not in the gym, if it's a rest day, I'm going to have to run, or I want to move a mile with my body. I want to move every day. And what is my last thing I want to do is just read books. Read 10 pages of a book every day, enhance your mind, hone your the place in which you experience life. You know, you experience life, everybody just experience, like, they live through their eyes instead of through their mind. They don't realize that the things that they happen to them are all just in your head. So you just need to hone your mind so that you can experience life in a better light. But I'm just yapping. If you guys like the video, leave it a like. If you dislike the video, leave it a dislike. I appreciate you guys. Leave a comment with any questions, suggestions, things you think I should do. Subscribe if you like any of my videos, or if you like this, want to see more from me, see if I succeed or fail. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.